Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. It is hard to believe, actually, that it was a year ago that I kind of first stood up here on this very stage at this very conference. And I was fresh from creative agencies, and I was kind of very much a new girl to outdoor. And it really is fantastic to be back here. And I'm delighted that actually this time round I do recognise a few more people than I did a year ago. So 12 months on, when Adrian and I spoke about kind of coming back to talk at this conference again today, we talked about, well, what can we talk about? And I felt it was really important that we share with kind of the industry what we've been up to for the last 12 months. And I stand here today with my very good friend and colleague, Nick Einhorn, who incidentally is a former ad man. He actually, before getting into magic, started in the advertising world. I think it was Y&R, wasn't it?
It was our case, Rainey Kelly Campbell Rolfe at the time. Yeah.
So, but his calling was magic, and thankfully Nick has spent the last 12 months with us on this fantastic magical roadshow, and so I literally am Debbie McGee, and the outdoors version of Magic, and delighted to be here. So clearly I am the outdoor bit and Nick is the magic bit. My powers do not extend that far. But I guess it does beg the question, what have the two got to do with each other, and why have we looked at putting the two things together? Well, let me explain. In my first few months of kind of working this side of the fence and working in outdoor, I got kind of a very kind of quick smack in the face that realised just how little I knew about the outdoor industry and about how little I knew about the medium. And I decided that I would kind of need to kind of not only learn very quickly, but I found that I wasn't alone, because as I kept going out and talking to clients and talking to agencies, I just kept hearing this same theme over and over again, which was, I never knew you could do that. And what I found, and what I really still continue to find, which is amazing really, is that there is an absolute distinct lack of knowledge about the possibilities of what can be done in outdoor, and it absolutely amazes me. And I think, sadly, what I find is that largely clients are typically still kind of thinking as they always have, not all the time, but a lot of the time as kind of single execution, rather than thinking about kind of the immediate real-time possibilities that we all know in this room exists by linking to lots and lots of different other factors, whether it be news, whether it be environments, whether it's facial recognition, whatever it may be, the list really does go on. So we decided that we needed a vehicle to showcase really just how underused, but also how overlooked digital out of home can be, and just how immediate and amazing it really is. And we needed to do this in a way that would excite, but also educate brands and their agencies. And essentially what we were doing was a category job. But that was where the magic of outdoor was born, and we've been on this fantastic roadshow, and magic has been brilliant for us because it is, you know, magic is a really powerful and really emotive medium. And we thought that, well, if we could harness some of the kind of wow factor that magic provides to promote outdoor, then that would be pretty useful. So we did. And Nick's advice kind of helped us, and he has been a really long-term friend of Outdoor Plus. You know, he's known us a lot longer than the last 12 months, although we have actually spent an awful lot of time together in the last 12 months. And Nick kind of, through consulting with Nick, he absolutely agreed that this kind of idea of fusing magic with the technology of our screens to showcase the instantaneous capabilities of the medium would really work brilliantly. And it would be brilliant for brands who particularly wanted to kind of tell their story in a creative and memorable fashion. And, you know, it really has been an amazing year. We have been, over the past 12 months, we've presented to probably, I think it's about over 25 different kind of companies and places now, to a multitude of organisations, from client organisations to media agencies to creative teams to specialists. We've even presented at industry events, and in fact most recently we took the stage with, Nick and I took the stage with another magician, in fact one of the most famous magicians in the world, which was Dynamo. So what we thought we'd do was showcase to you all here today the magic, and to show it to you live. But before we do, you've got to hear from me for about another minute or so. Because what I want to do is just to kind of talk to you about the immediacy of digital out of home, the context of what we do. And I did show this particular clip last year, and I still show it and continue to show it. So apologies if you've seen it before. But I'm going to take you back to Hollywood from 12 months ago. Take a look at this.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
I mean, it really is such a cock-up. It's a total and utter shambles of the highest order. But I think, you know, what was brilliant about it was Specsavers got this brilliant ad up which says, not getting the best picture, should have gone to Specsavers. And I love it because it's witty, it was fast, but they were agile and clever enough to react. But what I really admire about Specsavers is that it didn't stop there for Specsavers. What they did was they continued to kind of capitalise on kind of this theme. And Graham Daldry, who's their creative director, just carries on doing more and more imaginative and spectacular work in outdoor by their more important campaign. And it's their brand has actively taken a whole new direction. And they have a renewed focus, which is all about focusing on fresh and topical news that's happening across all of its digital touch points. And they're using, you know, witty one-liners that are reacting to some of the kind of more trivial news stories and TV gossip wherever it's happening. And what they are doing, they're doing this to basically kind of capture people's imagination and remind people that regular eye tests really do matter. And of course, despite the fact that I have criticised the lack of kind of imagination, there have been other examples of brands who are cleverly using the technology, such as this lovely campaign from Virgin Trains, for example, who have developed dynamic reactive content which compared train and car journeys times from nearby train stations by using real-time traffic data to inform drivers just how quicker their journey would be by train. And actually, I don't know if anyone in the room will remember from last time or at all our Justin Bieber campaign, but I'm delighted to see that this week British Airways have replicated the Bieber campaign by syncing their radio adverts simultaneously with our screens. Just take a look at this.
Plus a big tune from Shawn Mendes. There.
There are many ways to see Tenerife. Its historic towns, architecture, volcanoes, or just mile on mile of beautiful beaches. But there's only one way to fly.
Fly British Airways from Gatwick to Tenerife from £299 per person for return flights and 7 nights accommodation. Availability and dates are extremely limited. ATOL protected. Conditions and booking fee may apply. For full details, cba.com/Gatwick.
So it basically, every time a radio advert plays, there is a takeover across our screens across London. And I just think it's such a clever, brilliant kind of use of kind of other mediums working together with outdoor. And as well as that, I have to admire the stuff that Innocent is doing. They've also got a lovely dynamic campaign that's running at the moment where they've linked their campaigns to location, to day of the week, and they combine a mix of mobile data and route data, which allows them to be even more efficient when it comes to targeting specific audiences. But as I said, this immediacy, this ability to be more now in the minds of consumers, it really is still too rare. And I was quite surprised to learn that actually only 7%, and I still think that percentage is generous, of all outdoor campaigns are dynamic at the moment. Only 7%, which is really a woeful statistic. And it's a statistic that has not got better over the last 12 months. And I think it's something that we all as an industry really need to address to kind of help clients, help brands, help agencies really kind of make the leap, because I think we can, creativity does pay, and I think we will all be better off as an industry if we do. But that's enough from me for now. The moment you've really all been waiting for, which is the wonderful Nick. And I'm going to hand over to Nick now, who is going to showcase to you live the magic of outdoor. Nick, over to you.
Thank you, Helen. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nick Einhorn, and as you've been hearing, the immediacy of digital out of home can lead to some really powerful, really creative and dynamic ad campaigns. But when you're looking at historic campaigns, it's easy to sometimes overlook and underestimate the impact that these campaigns have on people in real time. So my job here this afternoon is to try and create a moment for us all in this room to experience together. And in order to do that, we got to use a theme. And Helen was talking very briefly before about the Justin Bieber campaign. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with that or remember it from last year. But we're going to use the theme of music, because music is inherently very powerful and very emotive. And I would imagine that for every one of you here this afternoon, if you hear a certain piece of music, it will trigger an emotional response for you. It will take you back to a certain time, a certain place, a certain person, a certain group of people. And of course, in advertising, music's used all the time and is sometimes inextricably linked to a product, because you just hear the song, you immediately link it to a product or a brand. It's very, very powerful. So I want you all just in the back of your minds to think of a song or a tune that means something to you, because I'm going to be asking one of you to share that information with us a bit later on. Now, I need to choose two people at random so that you don't think that I've set anything up with anyone or spoken to anyone before this presentation. And I'm going to use one girl, one guy, and in order to do this, I'm going to use my random person generating machine. I brought it with me. I created this. This is my own design. I'm going to throw this brick out. And whoever catches it, that'll be the person chosen at random. Now, do be careful of the cups. I'm genuinely going to throw this out. I'd like to make sure people are awake, they're watching. All right, so I'm going to throw this behind me so you don't think that I can see where I'm throwing it either. And I'll tell you what, we'll throw it 3 times, and the third person, if it's a woman, we'll go with the woman. If it's not, whoever's caught it, pass it to the nearest woman to you, and that'll be our woman of choice. So I'm going to throw this. Please get ready to catch it. Not being funny, health and safety. Don't want to hurt someone. Are you ready? Yeah? All right, it's coming. Here we go. Hup. That's one. It's one. Sponge brick, I'm not a maniac. All right. Throw it somewhere else for a second throw. Remember, it's the third throw that's going to count. Oh, back to me. That kind of defeats the purpose. All right, so this would be the third throw. Whoever is closest to this, whatever woman is closest to it, you're definitely not a woman, so pass it to someone around you, lady behind you. It's your choice who we go with. Thank you. What's your name? Sorry? What is your name? Lil. Is there a particular song that means something to you, that triggers a certain response, maybe reminds you of a certain time, place, person? Don't tell me what it is, but do you have something in mind? Then that is perfect. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment is to help me out with that. But first of all, if you then throw that to a random man, and whoever catches it will be the random man. Thank you. You have been chosen. Just hang on a second. So, Lil, what I'd like you to do, if you would just step forward, I would like you to write down the name of this song or piece of music that you're thinking of, big block capital letters in the big square there, but do it over there where there's no one watching. Make sure that nobody else sees it, and I'll come back to you, Lil, when you're done. So the gentleman that just caught the brick there, what is your name? Matthew. Matthew, Outdoor Plus have 30 super premium digital sites at prime locations throughout the whole of London. I'd like you to give us all, out loud, a number between 1 and 30, inclusive, now. 27. Would you like to change your mind? No. Are you sure? then that is perfect. I'd like you to come and join me. Bring the brick with you. Give him a round of applause as he joins me. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay, it's great. Let's pop this down here. And our friend Lil over there, I don't really want to look over too, you might think I've got supervision. I really don't. But you don't let me see it. Fold up the piece of paper, and then you can go and sit back down and relax, and you can leave everything on your seat there. So Matthew, this is a list of songs. I told you it was music related. We're going to have a look at, you said 27, right? What are you going to sing for us this afternoon?
I'm going to sing number 31.
So this is a list of the, you keep, I'll just pop that down there, it's fine, thank you. You keep hold of the piece of paper and you can sit down a little, back in your seat, and I'll come back for you later. So 30 super premium digital sites, prime locations throughout the whole of London. If you'd have said 6, it was the Royal Kingston A3. Number 11 is Euston Road Underpass. Number 15 is Chiswick Roundabout. They're all different, you can see that.
I can.
But you said 27. Could you just read out what it says at number 27?
At the eastbound 1 Knightsbridge.
The 1 Knightsbridge. Thank you. Now, what does this mean, the 1 Knightsbridge? We have live cameras at all of our sites throughout the whole of London. And believe it or not, Matthew, we're going to go live to the 1 Knightsbridge right now. Have a look behind you. Now, we know this is live, we know it's real time, and we know it's happening right now because it's specifically a message there for you. Matthew, hello Matthew, thank you for choosing the number 27, of course you did. There are now thousands of people on their way to work and meetings wondering what on earth this is advertising. And for them it's going to get even stranger because there's also a face-down playing card there. Do you have a pack of cards with you by any chance?
I left at home, so.
I'll use mine. I'm going to take these out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that they are all different because if all these cards were the same, that will make what I'm about to do very, very simple, all right? They are genuinely all different. You are going to choose one. The fairest way is for you just to put your finger on the back of a card. Okay, so if you just rest your finger on the back of one card, this one right here.
That's great.
Do you wish to change it for another one?
I'll go on then.
Yes?
Yes. No, I'll stick with that one, please, Nick.
It's up to you.
I'll stick with that one, Nick.
I don't want you to do that
No
just to make me
pressure.
feel...
No pressure.
Genuinely.
I'll stick with this
Because
one.
tomorrow morning you might say, what would have happened if I'd have changed my mind?
Either way.
Up to you.
I'm feeling the peer pressure. We're going to change.
I'll show you what it would have been, just so you know. It would have been the 3 of hearts, just so you're aware. Put your finger on the back of another card for me.
We'll go with that one then.
This one here. Again, do you want to change it? You happy with that?
No, I'm going to stick with that.
Don't look at it, just hold it against you for a second,
I'm hoping
okay?
it's the 3 of hearts.
Well, I definitely won't be the 3 of hearts because you changed your mind. But look, all of these cards are different. You've chosen one, and even you don't know what it is. Have a look at the screen. Now, I don't know if you can see that from there. It's a little bit burnt out. You see, it's actually the, what is that? Is that the 2 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds. You can see better than me from there. So you don't even know if it is or not. But if you turn that card over and it's a 2 of diamonds, these guys will go crazy with applause. Come on! Just wait there a second. Wait. Let's take this one stage further. You chose the number 27 before. I now want you to choose a different number, something a little bit bigger. So let's go for a number between 875 and 1,080.
918.
918?
Yep.
That's what you want?
Yep.
That's what it's going to be. You'll see why we do this later on. But for now, Matthew, thank you very much. Give him a round of applause. He sits down. Thank you very much. Thank you. So one of the real advantages of digital out of home is obviously the ability to integrate real-time data and real-time information into campaigns that are running live. And it makes these campaigns all the more relevant for the people that are in the moment with it. And when I say real-time stuff, I'm talking about, of course, traffic, weather, it could be news or current affairs. But you know what? There's nothing as more real-time as real-time itself. So for you guys at BAFTA today, we are going to get, in a moment on the screen, we're going to try and see if we can get the screen back up. We're going to try and get the real-time up here on the screen. Now we are, of course, at the mercy of the Wi-Fi in here, so let's just see if we can do this. And while we're doing that, hello, what's your name? Anna, nice to meet you, Anna. Would you mind joining me for a second? Could you come on up? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sitting in the front row would get me in the end.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a silly place to sit. So we're going to go live in a moment to Knightsbridge. And there we go. This is the current time. It's 1 minute to 5 o'clock. This is the current time. And I'm assuming that on your watch, it also shows 1 minute to 5. If you could you take off your watch, Anna? Is that all right? Thank you very much. Brilliant. And, oh, it's engraved as well. Look at that. It's engraved as well. To Anna. Thanks for a lovely weekend. Love all the boys at the fire station. I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. Now, so the time on your watch is 1 minute to 5 o'clock, and I hope you guys can see that, just to show you. I know it's a small thing that you're seeing here, but it is 1 minute to 5 o'clock. Do you want to come and stand this side for me? Are you right-handed or are you left-handed? Could you hold out your right hand? And I'm going to put this in the palm of your hand, and put your other hand on top of it, kind of sandwich it in between your hand. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to give me a number somewhere between 37 and 48.
38.
Would you like to change your mind?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Because again, tomorrow you might say, what would have happened if I'd have changed my mind?
No, 38's good. It's strong.
38 good? Okay. I'm going to try and move time by 38 minutes. Now, it's a good trick. It does take about 37 minutes, to be fair. But we're going to make it happen. And in fact, if you have a look up here at the 1, you'll see time has moved on. This is real-time stuff. This is real time. It's happening right now. There's people panicking. They think they're late. They're rushing to get to the... But this is real time. But we often forget that what we see on screen actually does affect people in a visceral way. It changes their thoughts. It changes their attitudes. And it changes their spending pattern. And it really does influence people. So what happens on the screen actually happens sometimes in real life. It has an effect in real life. You've been holding onto that watch, right? If your watch was on or around 20 to 6 right now, that would be quite freaky, wouldn't it?
That would be quite freaky.
Would you just turn over your watch and have a look? I think that says it all. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Be careful. I'd get that scene too if I were you. So, so look, you got time for one last demonstration? Fantastic. Okay, so earlier on, we asked someone to think of a song. That person is Lil, wasn't it? Lil, you've got that in your hand. You haven't told anyone what it is. Would you come and join me, Lil, just for a second? And I'll explain why I asked you to do that. I specifically wanted something that was emotive, that would mean something to you. Okay, Lil, thank you. So if you could just stand to my left-hand side. The number 918, does that mean anything to you? It was a number randomly generated by Matthew earlier on, wherever Matthew is. Now, I did ask for a specific number between 875 and 1,080. And that's because on an FM dial, the frequency, the FM dial goes from 87.5 to 108 FM. And what we've done is create a random frequency of 91.8 FM. Right? So do you have a small digital radio by any chance with you? I'll use mine. But if you have an Android device, it will have an FM radio on there. By all means, put in your earphones and follow along with what I'm about to do. So if I turn this radio on, we are currently on 92.1. There's a little bit of hiss on there. I don't know if you can hear that, right? It's just nothing. But I'm going to forward this to, where was it, 91.8. So if I just go like this, all the way through, and we scan to 91.8. So there's 92.5, I'll go down from there, and you can see that's fairly accurate, 91.8, yes? Still nothing. You can hear that, nothing. I'll tell you what, if you stand this side of me, because I noticed there's a mic over here, I'm going to see if this picks up on here. You can hear that? With that mic? Good. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to hold this in your right hand and hold it towards this mic, just so that people can hear. And hold your left hand out towards me. You can put the piece of paper down. Hold your left hand out towards me and palm towards me. That's great. Now, Lil, this song that you're thinking of, I want you to imagine it in your head. All right? Imagine the sound. And in a moment, my hand is going to touch yours. And the moment it touches your hand, something amazing, Lil, is going to happen.
Heard that before.
Listen, listen. Is that the song you were thinking of? Look, everyone right now over London tuned in to 91.8. Was it comfortable, Mum? Is that right? Thank you. Thank you. You can sit down. And so you see that by integrating real-time information and data into advertising in a creative way, you really can create some memorable things. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Nick, and thank you to all of you, particularly those that took part. We hope we've suitably entertained you. In fact, we hope we've wowed you today. I think from Bob's reaction, we certainly have. But we also hope something else too. I mean, we've hopefully in the last kind of 20 minutes just shown you how immediate, how exciting digital out of home can be. But we want everyone to go away and champion the benefits, because actually we want everyone to pick up this mantle and everyone to kind of shout about it, the brilliant success that our Peruvian channel can deliver. We've got a great industry story to tell, so please, if we ask you one thing today, please help us share that story. Thank you very much.